Well, seems like we're gonna have to run yet another Team Plasma Gauntlet, but I'm fully prepared for that, so shouldn't be much of a problem. So in the meantime, it's that time of the year again where I do my usual promotion bit for the Speed Gamers. We are now about 2 weeks away from their Mario Marathon, which is planned to begin on December 14th, yes, at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, as usual. And also, as usual, it will last 72 hours. Not a week, unlike the last Mario Marathon that they did in the summer of 2010, I believe. I'm trying to remember. Was that the one with the news lady? I mean, everyone that's seen it should remember that, even though it was during a weekday. I was on vacation at the time, so I caught it all live, and it was absolutely hilarious. Yeah, I think it was that one, but enough about that. This time, they're going to be raising money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And I think everyone knows what the Make-A-Wish Foundation is, so that will save me the trouble of explaining what it is. I don't know if I've made a reference before to how much of a stigma there seems to be against gaming marathons that aren't for child's play. And the odd thing is, I think I remember them saying that they would never do a marathon for child's play simply because there are already so many people doing marathons for child's play that it would just be not worth it. So instead, trying to mix things up a little, do marathons for all sorts of causes would be just as legitimate of an effort, if not more. So yeah, you'll be able to watch the marathon at thespeedgamers.com. Of course, you can also watch it on their Twitch account, but for the full experience, it's best to just go to thespeedgamers.com, as all the stuff that's on the Twitch page is there, and even more. Also, speaking of the Speed Gamers, I guess I might mention that recently they announced what their marathons for 2013 were going to be. The good news is that there are twice as many as there were this year, where there were only 2, whereas there are going to be 4 next year. But on the other hand, and this is a reaction that was particularly common among my regulars, is that, well, holy repeat Batman! Seems like, well, other than possibly the Halloween marathon, if that even counts, well, they are all repeats. We got Mega Man in March, Final Fantasy Returns in June, and also in December, there's going to be yet another Zelda marathon. Only the Halloween marathon will be somewhat original, as they're going to be playing all kinds of horror games from a variety of different franchises. They never were too hot on doing multiple franchises on a single marathon. They did that once for Prince of Persia and Assassin's Creed, but, I think for the purposes of Halloween, it works pretty well, since there are so many games in the horror genre that would never get their time to shine otherwise. So I guess this is a good idea, and oh yeah, go figure. Of course, I have to get poisoned by Sludge Bomb. It always seems to happen whenever something attacks me, or I face something with static or something. There's a 30% chance. It always seems to happen. Oh yeah, that's right. The good news, however, is that Sigilif is completely immune to poison damage because of Magic Guard. So, yeah, it pays to be picky with your abilities sometimes. It's not something that I would have been able to do with Wonder Skin. So, yeah, I was talking about the 2013 TSG schedule. Well, I guess there are going to be a few interesting things to look out for, as far as I'm concerned, at least, because last time they did a Mega Man Marathon, I hadn't played a single game in the series, whereas this time I at least have the benefit of having played the classic series 1 to 10. And, well, I guess we can also look forward to seeing Phil exact his revenge on X-Death, I think. Wait, did he beat him last time? I don't think so. I think he had to rage quit because he set up a strategy that worked on the SNES version, but they fixed that in the Game Boy Advance version, and he didn't even know about that. So, yeah, he was pretty much screwed right there. And, who knows? Maybe they will even attempt a Wind Waker world record again. I think they actually had it last time, except it didn't really count because the stream went down a couple times. And even at that, they did a bunch of stunts with the player during the playthrough, and that was still good enough for the world record, or close to it. I can't really recall if it really was good enough, but still, maybe they're gonna attempt it a bit more seriously. They said last time that in their hearts of hearts they had the world record and it's what mattered, even though it's not homologated or official or anything. But still, it would be cool to see them actually go for a legitimate world record and, actually pull out all the stops to make sure that they have all the footage of it so they can get it officialized. But then again, maybe they're not even planning on doing that, which wouldn't surprise me at all, because for them, maybe that case was closed last marathon. But yeah, as I was saying, otherwise, 3 repeats out of 4 marathons, and the official reasoning for that, and I can't blame them at all for doing that, is because, well, organizing video game marathons for charities takes a lot of effort. So you really want to maximize the amount of money that you can raise for the charity, not just for the sake of charity, although it's obviously very important, but also to justify the amount of effort that's being made, that's being deployed into making these marathons. And I think we all remember how the Star Wars marathon did, where they only raised around $10,000 for a week-long marathon. That was, simply put, unacceptable, considering that they usually raise more than that in their 3-day marathons. It's just that the problem is that Star Wars video games just aren't very big of a draw. I mean, everyone knows Star Wars, absolutely everyone, but video games aren't exactly what Star Wars is known for. They're known for, well, the movies, and I would make a joke about how the prequels shot any credibility the franchise used to have, but I don't think that's the problem. I just think that, it's Star Wars video games. The two just, well, I know there are good Star Wars games out there, but they're rather few and far between, so to fill an entire week with nothing but Star Wars games, it's just, it just had little chance to work, and it's where, I can understand them for getting a little bit more conservative, because usually when they try something new, it doesn't go along too well in terms of donations. So I guess this is why they are redoing all these big franchises over and over and over again. Because, well, they're doing this for charity, so why I can understand those that aren't fans of repeats like that, I can still get behind the notion that, at some point you have to do what you have to do in order to actually gather donations. And if no matter how many times you redo them, Mario and Zelda and Pokémon and Final Fantasy are better for raising money than other franchises such as, say, Prince of Persia, Assassin's Creed, Star Wars, then they will have to do what they have to do, and I'm all for it. But enough about that. Let's get back to Pokemon, because you might be sick of hearing me talk about charity marathons. I got told a few days ago that I was mispronouncing the name of what turns out to be apparently Charon throughout the entire Platinum LP. I pronounced it Charon because I had no idea, but apparently it really is Charon. So, you know what surprises me, though? The fact that if this is true, then no one bothered to correct me at all throughout the entire duration of that Let's Play. Usually, when I make a mistake, I get about 25 times the amount of comments that I need to realize that, well, I done fucked up. But nothing throughout the entire LP. So either none of you had any idea, or that guy, simply put, is wrong. So if anyone knows for sure, can you please tell me so we can put this to rest forever? I mean, it's getting a little silly there. Also, we have learned the reason why there was such a margin between the Unova League anime arc and the potential release time frame for Generation 6. We all knew that there was going to be a filler arc to fill the time between the two. Well, now it's been confirmed. We know what it is. It's going to be an arc involving N and Team Plasma somehow. Which, I guess, makes sense because so far, the only appearance, and I use that term loosely, that Team Plasma has done in the anime is in 2 episodes that never aired because of some, I don't really remember the exact reason, but for some reason these episodes never aired. Even later on when it would have been, less tasteless to do so, I guess. But then again, they also did that for an episode back during the Hoenn season that involved Whiskash and Earthquake that was supposed to air right after Earthquakes hit Japan, and as a result, this episode was never ever aired. Not even weeks or months or even years later, we never got to see. No, sorry about that. I was briefly thinking of another episode for a moment. But, yeah, they sort of go into overkill with those banned episodes. I mean, I'm sure everyone remembers Electric Soldier Porygon, which gave thousands of kids in Japan seizures when it was aired. So, understandably, it was never aired again. Though I wonder why they didn't just edit the problematic part to begin with. I mean, we've seen anime being incredibly edited in order to fit certain criteria. Just ask 4Kids. you knew I was going to make that joke, but still. The overkill part is where Porygon 2 and Porygon Z never appeared in the anime simply because they are related to Porygon, which was involved in an episode that caused seizures. So, yeah. I have no idea why they... I mean, that's pretty ridiculous. The fact that they don't even want to touch the Porygon line with a 15-meter pole. And it's pretty ridiculous, too, considering that it happened so long ago that some of you, I'm sure, weren't even born when that happened. So, yeah, can we please lift the embargo on the Porygon line, please? It would not give the anime some credibility because it has sung solo that nothing can ever salvage it. But still, it's just common sense now. I mean, just because something happened with an episode involving Porygon, I mean, Pikachu definitely was in that episode. And you don't see an embargo on freaking Pikachu, do you? So, yeah, this is just ridiculous logic at its best. So, we are almost at the end here. We just have to go down here, and we're going to reach, well, not the final room, but it's the last point of this dungeon we can explore for the time being. And Alder and Getsis are already here. Yeah, sure, you caught up. Make sure to thank the guy who beat all those plasma grunts for you while you didn't even need to lift a finger. So, I'm gonna get to hear Getsis talk once again. I don't know why, but this guy gives me the impression that he just loves the sound of his own voice. But, yeah, the Darkstone we seek is unfortunately not here, so we did all that for nothing. And, yeah, now Getsis is pointing out that we were chosen by N to test his beliefs and put them on the line. And right now, he doesn't seem like he's raging much, but inside he must be, fuck! This isn't what I planned for! Because that was the crucial flaw in Getsis' plan. He never thought that N would have his beliefs challenged in such a way that he would start to doubt them so quickly after presumably being put out of isolation in his castle, which is something that we're going to get to later in the game. But yeah, the Darkstone isn't here, which is a problem. And it also begs the question of why they sent all these grunts here if I was going for something that isn't even here to begin with. Maybe, I don't know, I have no idea, and I have no idea why Alder thought it might be here in the first place. And seems like I'm going to have to cut this speech in half because, well, he just won't shut up!